Hey guys, a lot of you were asking for an update on the Tuttle shooting. That is the shooting where the HPD officers got the fake warrant and slaughtered the people on the inside of the house. Before I do that, I want to show you guys something. The local union here is in overdrive, trying to control the narrative and do what they're doing. So I want you guys to see something. This is a billboard. It's one of, I don't know, probably a dozen I've seen around town. This billboard, I called and they say they rent this billboard for $2,000 a month. So let's go see what this billboard says. Let me switch this around. All right, support the HPD 5. Now, let's get back to the HPD 5. That would be the 5 officers who were injured in the shooting where the homeowners were slaughtered. I had a phone call last night from a guy that purports to be a member of the HPD union, and he said that they really don't like me talking about Mr. Tuttle screaming for help. Remember, I talked to an eyewitness that was next door when all this was going on, and basically what she said was that after they had extracted the officers, remember they left Miss Tuttle laying in the front room. They actually had to step over her to get to the wounded officer or the injured officer. They left her laying there to die. Mr. Tuttle was still alive and in the back room screaming for help, hollering for help as he died. He was also calling out to his wife. Of course, she was unable to answer. They left them for 2 hours, brought in a robot, let the robot go in and clear the house. Keep in mind that the house was under surveillance for 24 hours before the raid. So HPD knew there was nobody else in the house. But they left Mr. Tuttle there. What I hear, the screaming lasted about 10 minutes, him hollering for help, and at least one officer in the front yard asked one of the plainclothes detectives about going in after the guy, and the detective said, and this is coming from the witness, let that blanky blank die. Now, the Houston Police Officers Association doesn't want you to have that information. Mainstream media is not talking about it. And I suspect that the body cam footage captured some of those screams for help. And probably captured some of the officers' comments as well. And this is why the footage is not being released. Because the uniformed officers had body cameras. I don't care what anybody tells you. It is verified by witnesses who are on scene. The uniformed officers had body cameras for sure. And they would have initiated those body cameras possibly before the shooting started, but for sure once the shooting started, they will have initiated those cameras. That is policy. There's also a report. This comes from, again, an eyewitness to the entire event, that one of the raid officers, one of the plainclothes officers that entered the house, was wearing a GoPro, something similar to what I wear, was wearing a GoPro on his vest. I would find it hard to believe that GoPro wasn't running. Now, where's the footage? Did it get turned in? Or did the officers hide it, conceal it? I don't know. Chief Acevedo swears there is no body camera footage at all. Zero. I'm not buying it. Not buying it at all, and I don't know anybody that is. But it's funny to me that the mainstream media out here isn't talking about how Mr. Tuttle lay in that house dying for 2 hours. They still haven't released the autopsy results. Those will be very telling. The eyewitness that I spoke to said that before they made entry, and this was after they had sent the robot in to clear the house, before they made entry, the SWAT officer shot Mr. Tuttle between 1 and 3 times, which he was already dead. But this isn't the first time I've heard of SWAT officers doing this sort of thing. They shot him to make sure he was dead. It's kind of senseless, but whatever. All right, so Officer Bryant is one of the officers that has been suspended, and he is put in for retirement. There is more than enough evidence for Chief Acevedo to fire him. Okay, but if they fire him, he loses his benefits. So I guess the good old boy network has kicked in, and they're going to let him retire and get all his benefits, and then, maybe he faces charges, maybe he doesn't. Officer Goins is out of the hospital. He was the one that fabricated the stuff for the alleged fake warrant or whatever. He's out of the hospital. There is a criminal investigation going, but I look for him to try to get medical discharge and retirement, or straight retirement if he's eligible. The general idea is these guys, they retire and then they get all their benefits and all their money, and they keep getting that no matter what. So, that's the idea. In reality, if that was anybody else, if this was you or I on a job and we did something this egregious, we would have been terminated instantly. And that's how it should be for these guys. But you see what these billboards are doing. They're trying to build public sympathy, control the public narrative, and get public support. So if there is a trial, then, the public will have this predisposition to remembering the Houston Five. Those 5 brave officers that went into a house and slaughtered 2 innocent homeowners and their dog. And HPD Officers Association doesn't want that narrative talked about. This is part of what's going on with me, but let's stay on topic. They don't want the public to know how this man was still alive, screaming to his wife, trying to see if she was okay, screaming for help, hollering for at least 10 minutes for help, laying there dying. And the HPD officers are out front saying, let him die. We don't care. That's what happened. And I want everybody to remember that. I don't want anybody to forget that. These people that were murdered in their homes, they are the heroes. Not the Houston Police Department. Not these crooked cops. It's Mr. Tuttle, and her name's not Ms. Tuttle, it's Regina, but they are the heroes. And they didn't deserve what they got. And the fact that HPD and the Police Officers Association is calling them suspects when they are victims is disgusting. And more people need to be calling them out on this. And these 2 officers that were involved in faking this warrant and directly or indirectly caused the death of these people, they don't deserve retirement. They should be terminated from their jobs immediately. Guys, I'll let you know more as it becomes available. I'm working hard to get the autopsy results, because that'll give us bullet trajectories and stuff. They are trying to hide that and withhold it. But, you know, like I said, as soon as it becomes available, I will lay hands on it. Y'all be safe, and I'll see you again soon.